So we are in the right mood because our presentation is a continuation of Volker's presentation that you've just seen, but more from a business perspective. Okay? So I'm Vincent. I'm the president of Tranquil IT. Denis is my brother. He's the CEO. And we thought it would be a good point of humor to start with this extract from. So Tranquil IT was created in 2002. We are in Nantes, on the western part of France. The company is 22 persons, and we have two passions. The first passions that brings us here is, of course, Samba, but mostly the Active Directory part. And we are also the editor of a software that's called WAPT that will automate the deployment of software, of configurations, of patches, and of operating systems, and bring back up inventory details for your follow-up.
So when our Samba story started in 2004, we are much after Volker, and with the first Samba 3 and T4 deployment, and actually it was something that people were asking for, coming from workgroups, going to new domains. And in 2011, when Samba-AD was starting to mostly work, at least not crashing on startup, we started to just test it, and we just found that it was kind of usable if we know where you can step and where you cannot step. It was kind of a minefield, but if you know where is a mine, then you can use it. And at that time, it was I could have added another item. We started to have larger and larger clients, and in 2015, 2016, some of our clients were using Samba. We were starting to pushing it to the limits and of Samba-AD, and so we started to work to try to find help from you all, and specifically with Catalyst, and starting to make evolution of Samba in order to be able for it to work with our clients. And in 2017, we did our first sambaXP presentation. I found it back on our file server. It's a long time ago. And we worked, in France, we worked a lot with administration, and we worked hard to make it accepted. It was not a very easy path at all, and not an easy journey. And the first mention of Samba has been tolerated was in 2021. And in 2023, we had the first mention on the website of French cybersecurity, ANSSI, the equivalent of BSI, that Samba was an option for administration to use. So it was a very great win for us, because it took us something almost 10 years to get that. Not 7 years. And so in 2026, it's our first sambaXP sponsoring. So we are very happy to be next to just in between Cernet and Microsoft. It was when we tell our clients, when the website was out, I was very happy to just make a copy of the website and send it to our clients. Look, we are close. We are next to Microsoft now, and Cernet, of course. So at Tranquil IT, in Samba we trust. It's something that we have been doing for a long time. We have been working for it to go forward for a long time, and we love it. So in the 2000s, we did mostly work group to Samba and T4 migration. It was for people who liked free as in beer and free as in speech, because people really wanted to. It was a choice. They didn't want to go Microsoft Active Directory. They wanted to go Samba and T4, and which was less advanced technology. So it was working very well for them. But it was a choice. In 2010, mostly we did NT4 to Samba-AD migration. It's for people who liked free as in beer or free as in speech, because some people was just the cost of Microsoft sometimes made them go the Samba way. Sometimes it was just because they wanted it. But most of the Samba NT4 domains went to Microsoft at that time. So what's left for us now? Free as in beer used to be a very good sell, but free as in beer used to be a very good sell. But now it's cybersecurity is getting more and more important, and there is more money for that. So it's not such a good sell anymore. The free as in speech, I don't know how you feel about it, but I think it's not as much a thing now that it used to be. At least for system administrator, I don't think that free software is such a good sell anymore. Anyway, many people just put everything on the cloud, so they don't even know what's running it. And but there is a new freedom that people are looking for, is a freedom to have a better control of their dependencies. With the world, the cloud is someone else's computer. You don't know where it is. And the best friends forever does not always last. Like we have seen recently, friends can become antagonistic. And so people are really are trying to find again this freedom of having a choice. And resiliency is getting more and more important topic. And no one can be fully sovereign in tech, but choosing your dependencies helps to get more freedom. In the banking, there is the term "know your customer." I think in IT we should every IT system should know your providers and be careful about it. And so the world of Samba-3 NT4 is a very highly endangered species. It's a good thing, and NTLM has to die. So we still have some of them. Sometimes people coming to us to get a migration from Samba-3, but it's not that common anymore. And many smaller companies have put identity management to large cloud actors. So it's not. Small companies, Active Directory is not subject anymore. And what used to be internal domains, Active Directory domains, used to be not a very big subject in cybersecurity, but now it's one of the main targets. So everybody is focusing on it. Most people don't think that changing Microsoft AD is a mature technology, and why change to something else? It's a hard sell too. And many people now think that everything should be on the web, and so why would we bother with all protocol like Kerberos, LDAP, and all those things when OAuth is the future? But Microsoft ID to Samba-AD migration it has changed. The topic has changed. The reasons have changed. It's mostly now it's for people that don't want or cannot go to the cloud. Because, for example, large administration, we got the French Ministry of Finance, the DGFIP, which has got more than 10,000 desktops. 100,000 desktops. They are running on Samba Active Directory, and they will never go to the cloud because of they cannot. It's something it's a sovereign reasons. And we've got recently we migrated a chicken production giant in France with 10,000 more desktops, and they wanted Samba Active Directory because they didn't know where Microsoft is going. So it's not because of the price. No, the license is not because of the free software, even if it's part of the free software. Gives them give credibility to the durability, so they know where it will. There won't be like a big corporation that will change everything from in a few years. They know that there will be continuation. So they are choosing Samba because of resiliency. We do a lot of domain housekeeping with Samba as a tool. So sometimes people come to us because they want to have Active Directory stuff to do. We convert to Samba, we do all the cleanup, and then we convert back to Microsoft because in-house they are not
tools are not there.
Right, the tools are not there for them, or they just are not easy with. They are not. They don't know Linux. most of the time they don't know command line, so they want a Microsoft domain. But even in that case, Samba is very great as a tool to manipulate domain.
Splitting, renaming, cleaning up. We can do a lot of things with Samba to housekeep Microsoft domains or Samba domains.
And I don't know if it is in Germany, but in France, the administration like to merge and split and remerge, and so it makes a lot of business every 2 years. And when you got a change of government, they will change the name of the ministry, so you have to rename a lot of stuff too. So it's kind of a rolling business, and it's a good one, but having people stick to Samba after migration is better. So we are positioning Samba-AD as a simpler way to achieve higher ID security for people that want to keep to still be on premise, because ID security is complex. It is expensive to get all the consulting that people need. You need tooling, consulting, turing. And actually, Samba-AD, one very good point of Samba-AD is when you install it on a Linux, it's just a service above a basic Debian or Red Hat system. There is nothing else running on it. On Microsoft, most people don't know how to install a Windows Core, so they will install a full server with a lot of service running. And so when you need to secure your server, you first need to remove a lot of stuff. So it's so Samba is much easier to secure, and it provides better resiliency because as a service, one of the I don't know what was the design principle around that, but the authentication of the domain controller is plugged into the Active Directory. So when you have an issue with Active Directory on Microsoft server, then it's even hard to log on on your own domain controller. With Samba, it's just a service like another one, and it's much easier to work with. But it's converting people. It will be a long journey. Most IT people don't even know that Samba exists. So, and when they do, they know only about the file server, which is quite good, but we want to teach them about the Active Directory part. There is a lack of knowledge of Active Directory and of Linux, like I said before. And there is no AI in Samba yet, so it's no blockchain, so it's very... No, I don't want blockchain or AI. It's just for marketing. If you could add some terms here and there.
Instead of calling Samba-AD, call it Samba-AI.
At least it will help us to make more Samba at our clients. And there is a lack of curiosity, I guess. In 10 years of cloud first and web interface, for me, it have toasted many brains, and the AI is coming to finish the job. So before we have to catch those the people still left before they are completely toasted. And many people look at on-premise computing like if we were dinosaurs. But for me, the current geopolitical landscape make on-premise more and more happening, because people are really realizing that if they want their factory to keep working, even when the internet will be down, when there will be nothing, well, when the data center will be bombed and whatever, which happened recently. Well, you have to have your IT on premise.
Well, you have to keep feeding your population. You still have to keep the water pumps running, and having on-prem is sometimes good.
It's like the chicken factory I was talking about. It was really for resiliency. Their choice of Samba was about resiliency. And there are some signs of hope. There are teachers that are using Samba-AD as a tool for teaching Active Directory now. We are very happy about it. And we brought 3 people below 25. I'm right, yeah? They're still below, and 1 below 35. So it's skewing the average age of the conference. I'm sorry for you, gray beard. And so it's still possible to get younger people be happy with this type of technology. And more and more networks are isolated from internet, like I said before, so the cloud is not always an option. And for all those people, we've got Samba is a great solution. So, but not everything is rosy. There are still missing features, like the recycle bin, Active Directory web service, Labs v2, there is a GKDI encryption endpoints that are missing. Sysvol replication is still a bit of artisanal stuff. There are some services like SD port missing, WMI service, event service. It's not a showstoppers, most of them. But if you have people that are just want to switch and be fully transparent when switching, it makes the experience not that good. So they need to have someone to take them by hand and to show them how they can do without that. But it would be very great if we can if you can find financing to get those things moving forward. And because I think it's really important for mass adoption. And there are still dozens of small bugs. Volker was speaking about replication for me, Stefan, about the replication between Active Directory. And currently, when there is a DC that is not behaving properly because there is a drop in the connection, packet loss or whatever, the replication queue does not blacklist that server, at least for a period of time. So when and every servers that are replicated, they are doing it in a run robin fashion. And so when there is one DC that is behaving not properly, sometimes it can break all the replication between all the other DCs. So that's something that we added a small script that checks the availability, and when it's not available, we just add a reject rule, so the replication will go to the next DC. It's not very hard to put a workaround, but for people that don't know why it's not working, it's a very big problem. And DNS is still there's still a long-lived issue. The internal DNS is too basic, and bind DLZ is kind of new performance is not so good, and DLZ is on the chopping block by the bind developers. So there are stuff that would need to be worked out. LDAP queries are not properly sorted in MS RSAT. Thomas will speak about that. There are problems like pagination in group members. There are some attributes at token group names that are not implemented, and many other small things. Almost all those things we can do without. We can have workaround, but if it's but for somebody that want to make their own Samba by themselves, they can, if they stomp on one of those problems, they will just pass their way. So one of the issues that most people that consume Samba don't pay for Samba, and it's a free software, and that's very good. And current financing, we have been able to get financing from the French government but only for large chunk of works and for stuff that they are interested in. But there are many smaller stuff, like I was talking about just before, that there is no financing for, and there is a lot of housekeeping to do also to get the project from a security point of view or a bug fix point of view. And so the financing, there is a lot of questions on how to move forward on financing. And it's from people outside the Samba team, it's a bit hard to get into Samba development, and but it's very interesting. It would be really great if some of the Red Hat or SUSE people would be able to motivate their boss to finance Samba Active Directory part. But because the file server is great, but Active Directory needs some love too, money at least. And one thing that we try to set up at Tranquil IT is having something like a Samba toolbox that we can have a subscription, so we can have a more sustainable business model. So Yesterday, Ralph was a bit depressing, telling me well, everything is going to the cloud, everybody is doing OAuth. What is the place for Samba, LDAP, and Kerberos, and all those stuff? Well, I hope that I will give them a little bit heartwarming with this presentation, because for me, Samba has a great future. Samba Active Directory and Samba File Server has a great future. With NIS2, there are more and more organizations that will need to meet higher level of security. So the current security, where everything is connected to internet, won't be able to last very long, because because there will be regulation that will force people to have a better security. Industrial networks need to be disconnected from internet. Recently, I was talking with an IT person of a large French IT company that was going into Jordan, because they needed to protect and isolate water treatment plant from the internet. So it was the geopolitical landscape. It's not just something that we are making up. People are really afraid about what can happen to their industrial plant. And water treatment is if you have no more water, then it's getting messy very fast. So isolating their water treatment company, it was a very urgent need. So for those people, no cloud is not an option. They need an easy patch strategy. Samba is much easier to patch than Microsoft Active Directory. You need a future-proof technology, and that is shielded from the change of strategy. And most companies are not IT companies. They need a way to have vendors that help them improving their Samba-AD. And there need to be enough providers to change if they need, because resiliency. When I was talking about resiliency, people cannot be 100% auto-resilient. They need to have partners, but if those partners are failing or becoming antagonistic, they need to be able to change. And so the web is not the alpha and omega of IT. OAuth is just one protocol among others. Ralph and LDAP is not great as an identity management server, but it stood the test of time. Kerberos is kind of great. I love it, but not much people love it. It lacks of love. DCRPC lacks of love, and I don't know if it's me, but I think it deserves it. If you can get rid of that, I would be happy. But we would need to if you can work with Microsoft to remove this, it would be great. And just hope for that your water treatment plant don't run on OAuth and the cloud. Otherwise, be smart and drink beer or wine. So, thanks. Any question?
And we'll take questions. And I wanted to make a comment about Denis's presentation. For those of you who are not European, NIS2 is a set of regulations that apply to Europe.